podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
No breaks. No breaks. No fear. No fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
Welcome along to No Breaks, No Fear. I'm Ian Brannan, and we are bringing you this from live on location at the Plymouth Gladiators home, the Coliseum, this evening, where we just witnessed Plymouth Gladiators taking on the Oxford Cheetahs, and it was a big victory once again for the Gladiators, who moved to third in the Championship. More about that later. This week I'm joined by former Great Britain team manager and Swindon manager and all-round British Speedway legend Alun Rossiter. Speaking to him in just a second and getting his thoughts on the action from the Premiership from Monday night, where the Belle Vue Aces triumphed over the Peterborough Panthers again. And at Monmore, it was the Ipswich Witches who took the spoils on the home turf of the Wolverhampton Wolves. We'll hear what Peter Adams has got to say about that, as well as the thoughts of Ritchie, Hawkins and Sam Masters, all coming up too. Bit of controversy in the Championship at the weekend when the meeting at Newcastle had to be halted after 10 heats, when an old curb began to appear from out of the track. We'll hear from one of the riders involved in that meeting, Paul Stark, very soon. And we'll hear from Ben Barker as Ipswich Witches host the Sheffield Tigers in next Monday's televised meeting on Eurosport.
No breaks, no fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
Welcome along, lots to get through, and well, you may hear the occasional tractor or speedway bike in the background, but as I say, we're in Plymouth, having watched the meeting against the Plymouth Gladiators and the Oxford Cheetahs, and we'll come on to that in just a bit. But first of all, let's speak with Alun Rossiter. Good to see you, Alun. First question everybody will be asking is, what's going on with Swindon? Do you have an update, Alun?
You know about as much as I know, unfortunately. They've demolished the back straight, which is going to be the new home stand, and they've got the drainage working, and it's just a matter now of moving the pods over to the back straight and then start building it up. That's where we are at the moment, and as everybody else can drive past, can see exactly what I can see every week.
OK, watch this space for more information then on Swindon. On to the action from Monday night then. Well, Belle Vue roared to a stunning 54-36 win at Peterborough to complete an emphatic double over the reigning Premiership champions. Skipper Brady Kurtz made it a back-to-back maximums over the Panthers as he went through the card with 14+1, and even the Aces' lowest scorers all collected 6 points. Michael Palmtoff scored 11+1 for the home side, but they were blown out of contention in the first half of the meeting when the visitors produced a hugely impressive display. Alun, looking at this fixture last night, and Belle Vue, of course, they didn't start off particularly the strongest at the start of the season in the League Cup campaign, but since adding Matty Zagar, they've become an entirely different prospect, haven't they?
Oh, they're a totally different kettle of fish with a class rider like Matty Zagar in there. So they're from the team that was started off the cup matches. Now they are up there where they are. They're at the top of the league at the moment.
And we've just seen such sort of strength with the Belle Vue Aces, really, since the signing of Mate Zagar, and twice in a week for Peterborough. You know, they've really shown the strength against the reigning champions as well, haven't they?
Yeah, very much so, and certainly with Zagar coming in, he certainly made the difference to Belle Vue, and it's that missing rider that Mark Lemon was just hanging on for. I think he had an opportunity. I spoke to Mark in the winter, and there was an opportunity of another rider coming, and that didn't come to fruition, and I think he gave Jake Allen a chance, and it was being on a temporarily job there, but certainly when someone like Matty Zagar comes along, then it's certainly going to make him stronger.
Well, we can hear from the Aces top scorer on the night. Once again, it was Brady Kurtz speaking with Hayley Bromley.
Well, I'm with ATPI Aces skipper Brady Kurtz. Brady, a paid max for yourself on the night, a big win for the ATPI Aces and 4 league points in the bag. That was a pretty decent night's work.
Yeah, definitely. I wasn't expecting to win that big here, that's for sure. I thought they were gonna turn it around a little bit and come out firing, but yeah, we were good tonight. The whole team done good, which is what we need. We haven't had a team firing all together for a little while now, so yeah, it's really good. It's good to see all the boys work together and get the job done.
Absolutely. I mean, sending a clear message to all of your Premiership rivals. What has changed in the pits for you boys? It feels like a totally different energy to the one that we started the season with.
I think it's just everyone's just a little bit more relaxed. We're all enjoying it. We're all having a good time, and now we've got such a strong team. The pressure's kind of off everyone a little bit, and we can all enjoy our speedway and have a little bit of a laugh. And we're all just getting along good, and things are definitely looking up, but long season to come.
As Brady Kurtz, the top scorer for Belle Vue in their victory over Peterborough, which was live on Eurosport. Well, the next team to be on Eurosport next Monday will be the Ipswich Witches, and they shocked Wolverhampton with a 48-42 win at Monmore Green to make it 2 successive victories at the start of the Premiership campaign. Jason Doyle led the charge for the Witches, who produced a solid all-round effort in the Black Country, with former world champion winning his first 4 rides to score 13 points. Wolves struggled to cover for the injured Ryan Douglas, who was out with a neck injury, and their only mild consolation was a 5-1 from Sam Masters, who got 11 plus 1 bonus point, and Nick Morris with 10 plus 2 in Heat 15 to deny the visitors the 4th league point. In a moment we'll hear from Peter Adams, but first the Ipswich team boss Ritchie Hawkins with Ryan Guest.
Well, Ipswich Witches team boss Ritchie Hawkins, you haven't had too many away day successes over the past year or so you've got to be absolutely delighted. 48-42 winners here at Wolves tonight.
Yeah, brilliant team performance. It's going to be a tough place for everyone to come. They're obviously very good team round Wolverhampton, so for us to get a win, I think that's kind of 3 points that not many people will get here. So it's great for our start to our league. You know, we've started 2 wins out of 2 now, so it's brilliant.
Yeah, Ray, you mentioned how Wolves are a good team around this Monmore Green circuit. Not too often do you only see them win 4 races out of the 15 around here. Yeah,
and I think we had Starkey broke down when he was winning Heat 2, which kind of got them a 5-1 as well. And I felt, we dominated. I know that Wolves are a little bit weaker tonight because Thomas had a bad night coming in as a guest. So, in its early days, you're not going to get carried away, but certainly that will help us. I think team morale, get away wins, superb. So we go Monday. We've got such a tough test on Eurosport, and welcome Sheffield are sort of league favourites, everyone's favourites. They got a real strong team. So Monday's going to be a real tough one, and we need to enjoy tonight, and then make sure we're ready and cut out those silly mistakes that we've had. We've had 2 wins, but they've been riddled a little bit with mistakes. So we need to make sure we cut them out Monday, else we will get beaten.
Yeah, like you say, it is mixed emotions in one way, because you should be absolutely buzzing, and I'm sure you will be, to heading back with a league win from Wolverhampton, but missing out on that extra league point with some points dropped, and then conceding that 5-1 in Heat 15 as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, yes, we kind of can look at it. You can either look at it and say, oh, look, we should have had 4 points because we were in a position to do so, but actually, before the meeting, I think anyone said, look, you get a win at Wolverhampton, any time is a great result, so we'll kind of look on that and happy with that.
Well, Wolverhampton team manager Peter Adams, a first defeat of the Premiership season in just your second league meeting here at Monmore Green. It turned out to be a tough night for the team tonight.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously we're weakened with Dougie being absent. He's been in fantastic form, so we got that to contend with. Sam's got a dose of the flu or something, so that restricted him a bit. So, yeah, tough night. But Ipswich, they acquitted themselves very well, and this must be one of their best performances on the road for a long time.
Yeah, certainly. They've got a solid look about them, as you say, this year. And not many meetings here at Monmore Green. We only see your team win 4 races over the course of the 15 heats.
No, I think, obviously not enough heat winners. We just weren't at our best today, but Douglas was a big miss.
Yeah, important to regroup. I think it's a week on Thursday. You've got the Premiership League Cup group decider at Sheffield, and then, like I say, refocusing to get the league programme back on schedule.
Yeah, that's our next outing on the 19th, I think it is, of this month, week on Thursday. So, yeah, we'll go there and see what we can do, but hopefully we'll have a full complement of riders then, and we can give a better performance as a result.
And thanks for speaking to us.
No problem.
There's the Wolves team manager, Peter Adams. A victory against Wolves on their own circuit, Alan, is no mean feat. It's all notoriously a tricky place to go, but Ipswich getting the job done.
No, certainly. I know that Wolves are hindered without Ryan Douglas, and their guests didn't get so many points, 2 or 3 points. But I was when you look around and see people calling changes already. You know, we're not even quarter way, you know, not even halfway through the season, and people saying Wolves need to make changes. You know, they were out with an influential rider like Ryan Douglas. That's a massive loss for them. And just panic stations, just the guest didn't work for them. It's just one of them things, and Ipswich are on it, and Troy Batchelor's starting to find some form, and Jason Doyle looked unbeatable up until Heat 15 last night.
Let's hear from one of the riders that was singled out by Peter Adams, saying that he wasn't feeling quite right, dose of the flu or something like that, for Sam Masters, and Sam's been speaking with Ryan Guest.
Well, Sam Masters losing the second home fixture of the Premiership League season, not ideal. It was a real tough one for the boys tonight.
Yeah, we struggled without Dougie. Thomas was trying, but he obviously had a bit of bad luck hitting the tapes and whatever. I think we had a couple of guys struggling a little bit, which I didn't feel like I was on top of my game either, but I won a couple of heats. But anyway, the whole team didn't do what we needed to do, so we lost.
Yeah, only 4 heat winners as well. It's something I don't think I've seen often here at Monmouth Green from the Wolves.
Yeah, I don't really know what it was. Like, the track was good, a little bit different than last week, but still wasn't bad enough for us to just get to lose. But I don't know what it was, but just one of them days, and we've got a while till our next home meeting, which is not good after a loss, but we've got to work on that.
Yeah, like you say, it's frustrating to have that gap, particularly after a loss. You'd rather get back out on track and set the record straight, but nevertheless, it will give you a bit of time to reflect and look where things need to start afresh next time you're back here.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the way the league is, I think a lot of teams are going to lose at home, so but we didn't really want to lose any at our home track, but it's the way it is, and we've got to work with whatever we've got to do for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I know one of the two boys are just hoping for a bit more consistency once the fixtures do pick up in a couple of weeks as well, because I know they're frustrated. They're having one good ride and they're frustrated with the next, aren't they?
Yeah, and that's Speedway, but a couple of riders are low on confidence, and I know what it's like to be in that position. It's not fun, so we've got to try and help them get out of that, and it only takes a good meeting or two and they'll be away, but we'll see what happens, but we're definitely still fighting hard.
Yeah, and while you can't go out and obviously ride their bike for them, that is part of your new role as captain now as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. No, I can only say so much, but I'm going to help as best I can, so I'll do my best for them, and I'm sure they're going to try and win races. No one goes out there to lose races, so we'll be working on everyone to where we need to get back to winning ways, because we've got the team I think a good enough team to win the league, so we've got to just get back on everyone on form and we'll be all right.
Yeah, the way the fixtures work, a week on Thursday, back at Sheffield for the Northern Group decider in the Premiership League Cup as well, and I know the league is the main focus, but still you've put yourselves back within a shout of being able to get through to the final.
There you go, and it's not all that bad. We've still got to fight. We've still got a chance to make the final of that, and we all like going to Sheffield, so I think we can definitely do it. It'll be a tough task, but Sheffield are a good team, but I think we can do it.
There's Sam Masters there speaking with Ryan Guest after Wolves' narrow defeat against the Ipswich Witches on Monday night. Now, there's a bit of a break in Premiership action until next Monday. That's when the next fixtures take place. And the televised fixture will be the Ipswich Witches, who will be hosting the Sheffield Tigers next Monday night, live on Eurosport. What about this fixture then, Alun Rossiter? Sheffield, of course, their home track, a very, very big track, whereas Ipswich, obviously much tighter, and again a bit of home advantage there. How do you see that one going?
Yes and no. Again, if people make changes like Belle Vue have now, then Belle Vue are certainly title contenders now. We're certainly with Matty in the side, and you don't make them weaker, makes them really stronger. So it's going to be tough. But they got riders like Adam Ellis that can ride the small, not so much tight, but it's a technical track at Ipswich. It's got a clay-based content, but you got Jackie Holder and people like that in there, and Kyle Howarth. They will all attack it, but certainly Ipswich should be buoyed with that win at Monmore on Monday night for sure.
Well, looking back to last week, Sheffield were last in action against Peterborough. All seems to come around to Peterborough at the moment. And they were big winners again over Peterborough. 51-39, the victory at Oleton last Thursday. Sheffield, of course, next in action in that televised meeting on Monday at Foxhall. And we'll hear from Tobias Musielak in just a moment. But first, let's hear from the Sheffield team boss, Simon Stead.
Well, Simon Stead, first Premiership League fixture of the season against the reigning champions. Perfect way to start as well.
Yeah, really good start for us. Continued where we'd left off, really, in the early season. And I think that's a really, really strong display from us against good opposition, considering we've not been here for a significant amount of time. I think we were a little bit rusty, but ultimately we got the job done, and it probably looks a little bit more convincing than it actually was. Peterborough kept us honest for a long period of time in the match, but it's nice to get started again, and we're into a bit of a run of meetings, so look forward to the next one.
Yeah, what can you say about Tobias Musielak as well? Superb 15-point maximum, fully deserved, and looks like he's been riding this place for years.
His words sort of can't really sum him up. I think we sort of knew what he was capable of, and he's a fabulous rider. And the beauty about him is, as fast as he rides this place, he's just as good. His performance at Wolverhampton earlier in the year, which is completely different to the big open fast tracks in Poland. He did the business there. So I think we've got a real gem who's loving life at the club, who's very happy, who's got good equipment, good mechanic, a really good setup. And he's riding with a smile on his face, and ultimately when people do that, you tend to get better results, and that's what we're seeing. Yeah, the racing certainly developed as the night went on as well, and that Heat 13 will no doubt be doing the rounds on social media, the race that sealed the victory for the Tigers, and what a move from Jack Holder on that last lap. Yeah, I said to Jack, that's probably one of the best corners I've seen here in a long time. That's sort of no disrespect to anybody else who's flown around the outside, but that was just he just hit that cushion perfectly. It pulled him round. He looked in complete control, which is not always the case when you're flying under the air fence at Sheffield. But it was absolutely fantastic, and off the back of that, he was up for it, fired up, and really fancied Heat 15. And I that's the beauty about how we're made up this year. Absolutely over the moon to have a selection headache going into Heat 15. So great that Toby got his 15-point maximum, thoroughly deserved. But it was great to see the other boys chip in and do their bit as well. Yeah, another week and a half gap now until Ipswich away. They've claimed their first win of the season tonight at home against Belle Vue as well. So should be an interesting meeting at Foxhall. Yeah, it will be. I look at every fixture like that this year. I just think how the makeup of it is and how the teams are looking. Every fixture looks like a really, really good one. So I'd like us to carry forward the momentum that we've got. It's been a little bit stop start, but like I said, it's just a week and a half. We get our grips into it. It's on the TV, of course, so we want to put on a dominant display. But no, we'll be in for a tough fixture. They always ride their place very well, so it won't be easy, but it'd be nice to continue the current form that we're in. Many thanks for speaking to us as always, Steady. Thank you, mate.
And you can watch Sheffield's trip to Ipswich on Monday live on Eurosport 2 and Discovery Plus. You're listening to No Breaks, No Fear, the official British Speedway podcast. I'm Ian Brannan. My guest this week is the former Great Britain team boss, Alun Rossiter. And we'll be hearing from one of Sheffield's star men this season, Tobias Musielak, in the next part of No Breaks, No Fear. We will also hear from Paul Stark on his assessment of what happened at Newcastle last Sunday, and a bit of coverage from the National League to come before the end as well. Here on No Breaks, No Fear, the official British Speedway podcast.
Why don't more infant formula companies use organic, grass-fed whole milk instead of skim? Why don't more infant formula companies use the latest breast milk science? Why don't more infant formula companies run their own clinical trials? Why don't more infant formula companies use more of the proteins found in breast milk? Why don't more infant formula companies have their own factories instead of outsourcing their manufacturing? We wondered the same thing. So we made ByHeart, a better formula for formula. Learn more at byheart.com.
No brakes, no fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
Lots still to come on No Brakes, No Fear. There's been a big announcement about coverage relating to the Premiership pairs. Details about that on the way very soon, because that competition gets underway on the 23rd of May, and an exciting new competition it is as well. First of all, let's hear a chat with one of the star men so far this year for the Sheffield Tigers. Tobias Musielak has obviously been in British Speedway before, was a title winner in 2019 with Alun Rossiter's Swindon side, and he's been speaking with Ryan Guest about another top performance for the Sheffield Tigers.
Well, Tobias Musielak, first and foremost, a stunning 15-point maximum tonight on your league debut for Sheffield.
Yeah, absolutely stunning. The first complete in British Speedway for me, probably. So I am enjoyed racing tonight at Allerton. So that was awesome for me. The bike was. I have to say thank you to Maciek. He's got brilliant setup, and I could even lost some of my starts, and bike was just pulling.
Yeah, watching you out there, it's like you've been racing here for years, but it's actually only your second team meeting.
Yeah. Actually second team meeting. I didn't even know. I'm just enjoying the track because the track is awesome. The track is brilliant. So the shape is cool, and it's no tricky track actually. So I'm just dropping my clutch, say goodbye.
Say goodbye indeed. For the team as well tonight, first league meeting, a good win against the champions.
Yeah, that's the brilliant start for us, and good to be on the first league meeting here in Sheffield. That was, important for us. Yeah. So we started with the win, so that's the cool feeling, and we're looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, unbeaten so far from 4 team meetings as well, and a really good team of riders here at Sheffield this year.
Yeah, we are a good team, and we have a good, actually, team spirit. So we're enjoying young team. Good fellas. So,
Toby, well done tonight on a stunning 15-point max.
Thank you very much.
Tobias Musielak there, who certainly is becoming a firm favourite with the Sheffield fans already. Sheffield, many people's favourites to take some honours in 2022, Alun Rossiter. Obviously, we've seen some team changes with the Belle Vue Aces adding Mate Zagar into their lineup. Do you think that changes things? Are Sheffield still one of the favourites?
Well, obviously, Sheffield were the standout one now, but I think Belle Vue now with what they've got compact in there. Young Tom Brennan having a fantastic season there. Fortunately, he didn't do any damage after his crash at Newcastle the other night, so that's great news. And he banged in paid 9 at Peterborough, and he's certainly scoring the points. And Jai Affridge is picking up some very useful points there. And Brady Kurtz getting a paid maximum yesterday. So, and again, to keep repeating ourselves, Matty Zagar has certainly made him up there with Sheffield between the battle of the northern clubs at the moment, I would say. I wouldn't write off Wolverhampton just yet. As I said, everybody's writing them off at the moment, which is quite sad, really. We're only like 3 meetings in, and they certainly missed Ryan Douglas. Thomas Jorgensen scored a hatful of points at Wolverhampton for Kings Lynn, and it didn't work for him this week. You've seen that one week go there as the home team as a guest, and it didn't work for him last night, and the fans are already jumping on the back shouting for change. I think it's crazy.
And Peter Adams, more than any other manager, knows that this is a long season. There are many twists and turns to come yet in all directions. He knows that better than anybody, especially after last season, and there's a long way to go.
I always say, even at Swindon, we're not worried about winning the league. It's about just getting to them playoffs. That's all the focus is, making sure you're in that top 4, 5. I would say 4 in the Premiership now, isn't it? And it's 6 in the Championship. Oh, I got that one right. Hey. So it'll be the guys who'll be looking to get to that top 4. And I always say it's not about winning it. And I know that you can say when you get to it, if you win it, you can pick who you want. But if you're going to win it, you've got to play everybody.
So those fixtures then for the next week in the Premiership, it's on Monday, and the fixture live on Eurosport 2 will be Ipswich versus Sheffield. That starts at 7:30, and the other fixture on Monday is the National Speedway Stadium, Belle Vue Aces against the Kings Lynn Stars. The other big fixture taking place in World Speedway, of course, is going to be the Speedway Grand Prix, which returns this weekend to Warsaw in the big stadium there. Once again, massive crowd, indoor stadium, and these big massive fixtures are great to have back on the calendar again, aren't they?
Massive crowds, like, nearly a sellout crowd of 50, 60,000, I'm not sure. With a partisan Polish crowd, and obviously the way Smarslik's riding at the moment is just unbelievable. Who can stop him? We all say, we've lost Emil, sadly, and we've lost Artem Laguta, which is a real shame. It's not their fault. It's just Speedway in general, how it goes, the world, how they've dealt with the Russian athletes, which I don't think it's their fault, whether they've had to make a stand just like all the other sports, and they've done it. But it does leave it wide open for Smarslik to walk away with it. A rider you can ask, we always say Magic Janoski, he always starts off strong, but then can he sustain it? That's the thing with Magic. He's got the ability. He's a super guy. He's ultra professional, very, very fit. But can he sustain it? He seems to start strong and fade as the Grand Prix goes along. That's where you're looking for somebody like Magic to try and stop in Smarslik. Because at the moment, I don't see anybody stopping Bartos. And
that's the thing. How do you stop Bartos? He just seems to have more speed than everybody else at the moment, doesn't he?
He's got the speed. He's got the skull. He's got a different technique. He's just got everything about him.
Let's turn our attention then to the Championship right now, and the match that myself and Alan were at on Tuesday night, Plymouth Gladiators versus the Oxford Cheetahs, and certainly my first visit to this stadium. An interesting track, a pretty small track, I think one of the smallest, certainly in British Speedway. What were your thoughts on it, Alan? Because I know that this is your first visit to this stadium too.
Yeah, it's good. It's been a bit different. It's something I've not witnessed before. It certainly looks bigger on the TV than it does in real life, and it certainly leads to have a certain setup. If you've got the setup here, it could work very well for you. If you haven't got the setup, you will get caught out badly.
Joined by Ben Barker, and it was a good evening for you once again here.
Yeah, definitely. This track is one of my favourites in the country. Dropping 1 point to an opponent is not bad. So I think it was 12 plus 2, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, it was a good night for you. You took a bit of a tumble, though. You all right after that?
A little bit sore, a bit of battered and bruising. We'll just see how we feel in the morning, but we might go and get an X-ray. A bit of pain in my wrist, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a... What happened in that? Because we couldn't really work it out. Was it just a classic first Ben bunch job? Or?
Of course, I come off of gate 3. I looked to the left, and Scotty and Tofty have made as good as one as me, so I've got to run for the dirt, and then batches over my left shoulder, and we just got hooked up, and spat me down hard.
Yeah, you did a bit of a flip over and straight into the air fence, but anyway, you made the rerun and the victory. But obviously, the meeting was sorted all by heat 15 anyway.
Yeah, of course. I mean, everyone knows it takes a lot to keep me down.
Yeah,
it does take a lot to keep me down. So, we just grit our teeth and deal with the pain for 60 seconds, and then got the win. So it was a good. I made the best start I've made all day was in heat 15.
It was
in the rerun, so that was good.
Got a bit of a break now from Plymouth anyway.
And Ipswich, I've got a week off now.
Oh, you got? Yeah, well, that's it. The next fixture, you're on TV, aren't you? Because Ipswich, we're talking about this earlier. Ipswich racing against Sheffield. Big fixture on Eurosport, and obviously the quest continues there. But a good start to Ipswich's season.
Definitely, I've had 2 league meetings, 2 wins. That's the best thing we could hope for. So we just got to keep clicking at Ipswich and keep clicking here as well. I'm lucky. 2 teams that I look at and I think they can be title challenging teams. So on paper, so you just got to carry on.
And of course, it all comes down to the playoffs. It comes down to a couple of meetings. It's getting yourself in those playoffs. I spoke to Gary May earlier tonight, and he was saying that's the aim. The playoffs is the aim.
But that's the aim for any team.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who finishes top of the league. By the end of the year, I won the league in Coventry 2011, I think, and we were 4th. We snuck in the playoffs, but we were a team on form, and we went and smashed the playoffs and won the league. So it was great.
Well, it's good to see you, and well done on tonight. You seem to be enjoying your speedway at the moment, and everything that's happening with you.
I came home. I've come home to Plymouth.
Yeah, that's of course. I mean that must. I mean, it's been a long journey for us all to come here tonight, and obviously that's the same for you being based here, travelling across the country. Of
and
course,
like my little boy, my youngest son Bradley was here tonight with my dad, and it's just it just suits me being here. And then that's the only reason I took the Ipswich job, is because I was so happy with my riding. And I was like, well, let's go for it now. I'm back enjoying my speedway. And, I've got a great team behind me. I've got Mark Simmons, who is, he's top notch, doing all my equipment and everything. So it goes a long way when everything's working well.
Good stuff. All right, well, keep it up, and all the best for the rest of the season. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Ben Barker there, top scorer for the Plymouth Gladiators in their 55-35 victory over the Oxford Cheetahs on Tuesday night. That match was streamed live on the British Speedway Network, and it was announced during the coverage that British Speedway Network will be the place to watch the Premiership Pairs competition, which gets underway very soon. There's going to be a round at each Premiership track. The first one is at Peterborough on May 23rd, basically a round every month between now and the end of the season, effectively. And I caught up with the man behind British Speedway Network, Jitendra Duffel, and he told us a little more.
Myself and Matt and Hunt started this project. We entered the unknown, really. We didn't know what sort of reception we would get, or if the project would be a success, but we had a lot of belief in it. We did a lot of market research beforehand, and really pleased to say that the project so far has been a huge success. We're growing all the time. Feedback has been good, and BSN as a company, we're learning really stream by stream and looking to improve. So, the fact that we now have this contract with the Premiership is a massive achievement for us. It's something we're really excited about, and just really pleased to be able to bring something else to British Speedway.
So this competition is going to run over 6 rounds. Every track is going to host a round in the Premiership, so it's an exciting competition, and as a Speedway fan you must be excited to see how this is going to pan out, as well as being the place where it's going to be shown, because there's going to be no outright winner on the first night. The scores are going to roll over round after round, and it's all possibly going to boil down to a big showpiece finale at Belle Vue in September time.
It is. I would liken it to the old Falls tournament we had years ago, where we travelled around to different tracks, and each track managed to host a round. So it's great news for the supporters. I think that the tournament's going to be very, very popular. It's something that we think is going to be a really exciting competition as well. If you look at the standard in the Premiership, obviously it's a higher standard than the Championship anyway, but when you actually filter that down to the top 2-3 in each team, you've got the likes of Matty Zagar, Brady Kurtz, Jason Doyle, amongst others in there. There's some really big names, and this competition is going to be an ultra high standard, and it's a privilege for us to give them the chance to actually to broadcast it.
So 23rd of May, first round at Peterborough. Before then, though, it's a busy week this next week for the British Speedway Network. There's 2 fixtures next week that people can watch in the Championship.
Yeah, so we're at Poole next Wednesday, which is a fair trek for us again. Plymouth, we're based in Middlesbrough, so Plymouth was a big trek. So to go to Poole again next week is a lot of miles for us personally. But that's Speedway, and we don't mind the travelling. It's all part of the fun. And then obviously we're at Scunthorpe on the Friday as well. A little bit closer to home, but a fantastic racetrack too. Poole. The big players in the Championship moved down from the Premiership, and they've certainly exerted the dominance in this league as well. But and Scunthorpe again, is a track that the Championship has so many great racetracks that haven't really been showcased. The Eurosport coverage has concentrated predominantly on the Premiership, so I think it's a great opportunity for us to actually showcase some of the great tracks in the Championship as well, and Scunthorpe is one of them. I've been to see many a meeting there in my red car days as a promoter, but also as a casual Speedway supporter, which I am too. I don't think I've ever seen a bad meeting there. It's a superb racetrack, always well prepared. And really excited to go on and show the track off to the whole world.
That's Jitendra Duffel, who you may remember as being a promoter last year at the Redcar Bears, now one of the driving forces behind the British Speedway Network, who will be showing the Premiership Pairs tournament, in addition to all the action through the course of the championship season as well. That's the end of part 2 of No Breaks, No Fear. Coming up, well, we've still got a bit of action to bring you. We'll hear from Paul Stark, Newcastle rider, who was involved in that fixture against Glasgow last weekend, where the meeting was abandoned because of the state of the track. We'll hear his thoughts on that. And a little bit of action from the National League as well, which has had a pretty busy week over the last 7 days. All to come on No Breaks, No Fear, the official British Speedway podcast.
No Breaks, No Fear, the official British Speedway podcast.
Welcome along, I'm Ian Brannan. Alun Rossiter joining us through the course of the episode this week. A little bit more from the championship now. And Glasgow were 31-29 winners at Newcastle on Sunday, and a meeting abandoned after 10 completed races due to track conditions. The Tigers went level on points with championship leaders Leicester, but saw Tom Brennan withdraw with a hand injury after a crash in his first ride. Captain Ulrich Ostergaard was unbeaten for the visitors with 7+2 from 3 rides, with Benjamin Basso winning 2 races as he scored 7. Max Clegg scored 7 from 3 for the Newcastle Diamonds. Newcastle promoter Rob Grant, meanwhile, has confirmed significant track work was already scheduled for the venue prior to Sunday's abandonment. The Diamonds now have a break in home fixtures and plan for the work to be complete in time for the visit of Scunthorpe on May 22nd. Let's hear now from one of the riders involved in that fixture, Newcastle's Paul Stark.
Well, Paul Stark, I know it was a bit of a controversial ending to the Newcastle-Glasgow fixture on Sunday. From a home perspective, what was your take on it?
I mean, obviously, you know, the Newcastle have tried to do the best that they can. They can't get on the track as much as they'd like to. I know that they've always had in their minds that they're going to try and fix it. And a few of the crashes, nothing to do with the actual issue at the track, and a couple, you know, it's just a difficult. It's 50-50, you know, and it's hard because they want to fix it, but they need a bit of time to fix it. So rider safety is paramount, obviously, and that comes first. But at times you've just got to use your head and yeah, just I don't know what to say. Really. It's a tough one, but probably they're going to fix it now moving forward, and I think, you know, they'll do the best that they can with it, and hopefully the issue will go away. Yeah,
it was a shame it had to come to an end as well, because it was turning into a close competitive contest.
It was always going to be tough, you know. Glasgow are a formidable side, so it was tough, but in the end I think we just got to take it for what it is and just move forward, and, you know, they're going to sort the track out. I think they're sorting it out as we speak, to be honest, so we look forward to that and just go again.
An unusual situation, but you may have seen pictures of the situation with the track over the course of the weekend. You may also have seen pictures of the situation with the track now, in the fact that some new shale is being put down and work is underway to improve the situation around the Brough Park circuit, and all the best with that work. Alun Rossiter, have you ever experienced anything quite like that? Have you seen the pictures of of what happened at Newcastle, but ever experienced anything popping through the track you weren't expecting?
Funny enough, Belle Vue, the old Kirkhamshaw Lane Road, used to go in the third and fourth bend, and used to get the house bricks come up going in on the third and fourth bend, but certainly not to the groove that I saw on social media, which something must have gone wrong, or the lack of dirt or something for it to do that. It did look quite horrendous, you know. I don't mean horrendous, but you look at it, it's certainly, if you got your back wheel in it and caught it wrong, could cause a lot of damage. So I can understand why it was called, but you have to ask the question how it come up like that.
A quick run through the other results over the course of the last 7 days or so then in the Championship. Of course, Birmingham getting a big victory against Scunthorpe, 49-41. Perry Barr getting their season up and running, and that was a fixture that was also live streamed last week. Oxford beating Berwick 50-39 in the National League, which we'll come to in a moment. On Friday, it was honours in Glasgow's favour, 49-41 against the Plymouth Gladiators at Ashfield. And then on Saturday, another big win for the Leicester Lions, who remain top of the Championship as it stands. Leicester 55, Oxford 35. And then that meeting that we mentioned on Sunday, Newcastle 29, Glasgow 31, abandoned after 10 heats. The result stands. We've talked about what happened on Tuesday already, looking ahead to the fixtures in the Championship as the week goes by. On Wednesday, that's May the 11th, Oxford Cheetahs host the Redcar Bears. It's Poole Pirates versus the Newcastle Diamonds, also on Wednesday. And then looking ahead to Friday, Edinburgh v Leicester, Redcar versus Poole, and Scunthorpe versus Oxford. And you can get the live streams at Edinburgh and Scunthorpe on their respective websites. Saturday, Berwick host Redcar in a bit of a northeast derby at Sheffield Park. And that really completes the lineup, really, as far as the Championship goes. Safe to say, on Tuesday next week, it's Plymouth versus the Berwick Bandits and the Oxford Cheetahs versus the Birmingham Brummies, the remaining fixtures as we look ahead over the next 7 days. Right now, let's turn our attention to what's been happening in the National League, because it was a busy week on the National League front last week. Oxford beating the Berwick Bullets 50-39. The Oxford Chargers getting off to the perfect start at Sandy Lane. And Robin Allen caught up with captain of the Oxford Chargers, Jordan Jenkins. He scored a 15-point maximum, and here's his thoughts after that opening meeting.
Jordan Jenkins, your first home meeting for the Oxford Chargers, and it couldn't have gone any better for yourself with a 15-point maximum.
Yeah, for sure, I was determined after last week to make a better performance around here. I felt like I had a good race against Scotty. So yeah, as I say, just making myself better every time, and after a good match last night in Lublin, paid 10 on top score for Chesterhover, so I'm feeling good at the minute. I just need to work on a few things, and I think we'll be well away, I think I'll be dangerous if I can make a start. So yeah, we'll keep working, and we'll get there soon.
Now, how are you finding it with the fact you've had such a busy week? And I know Oxford have put it out on their social media, all the places you've been, the flights you've had to catch, the meetings you've done, and how are you feeling after this busy week?
I think I had just as a busy week last week, so I think last week was a good icebreaker to get into it. I think I've settled in well, I've got used to it, and I've had an hour and 50 minutes sleep, and that was on an airport bench at 2 o'clock this morning, and we caught the flight home, and it's just a day of relaxing, no bites to do, which is quite nice, and I would say I got a day off tomorrow to rest, but bikes to be done, and we'll set off up to Edinburgh, and I think we're at Redcar on Saturday, try a few new things, and possibly another meeting on Sunday, but we're yet to find out, and it's the best way being busy. I like being on my bike, and at the minute I've only had 2 days off a week, and this week is only going to be one, so living the dream.
And how are you sort of finding things? Are you sort of feeling that all that hard work and preparation over the winter is starting to pay off?
Yeah, I've always felt my equipment's good. Just needed to sort of believe in myself a little bit more. And I feel like I'm finally getting there, but still a long way to go. As I say, I can't settle for it just yet, but I'm happy with the way things are going, and as you say, a long preparation over the winter, and just drilling it into my own head, that I can do this, and I will do it, and I think that's the positivity I need to have, and as I say, I'm just happy with the way things are going, but Speedway is all about consistency. I've had 3 good meetings in the last few days, and as I say, just need to replicate that now, and not be a yo-yo rider. So we'll see how we go.
Now, the 2 meetings that you've done in Poland, you said that it was very much a learning experience for the first one, and you really kicked on this week, and are you looking to push on and onto bigger and better things?
100%. I don't go out on the bike unless I want to improve. Last week in Chesterhover, the 2 motors that I took out there this year, I don't think they're quite up to the job, and the club have provided me with a club engine from Fleming Gravison, which turned out to be a rocket ship. And another new track yesterday at Lublin, and it's a little bit of a tighter track, so I enjoyed it, and probably a bit of a similar track to sort of Kings Lynn, just long straights and a bit tighter bends, but very slick, so I was good at the beginning. The setup just got away from me at the end, but I'm still learning, as you say, but I've got good setup around me out there. I've got a good mechanic who's worked for some world-class riders, and like Greg Hancock, Artem Laguta, Rowan Tungay, Runa Holter, so I'm quite lucky with that. yeah, as I say, we'll just keep striving and you know, I've got 12 more meetings out there, and plus anything else that may pop up, you know. So yeah, very happy with where it's going.
Thank you, Tom.
Cool, cheers.
Well, the Oxford Chargers continued in great form just a couple of days later when they visited Armadale and won away there, 42-48. So a great start for the Oxford Chargers. The Berwick Bullets got the better of the Belle Vue Colts on Saturday, winning 55-35 at Sheffield Park. And looking ahead to the week coming up, a few more National League fixtures on the cards. Not least on Saturday, Leicester Lion Cubs hosting the Belle Vue Colts at 7 p.m. And also in the National League, we've got Kent versus Leicester on Sunday at 12, and Mildenhall against Plymouth at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday. And there's a bit of British Youth Championships as well taking place on Sunday. Both meetings at Kent at 2 o'clock. It's the 500cc and the 250cc Championship round 1 of the British Youth Championships. So you can get a good afternoon of speedway actually there with the National League meeting, Kent v Leicester at 12, and at 2 o'clock the British Youth Championships. So we're a busy one there. And what's set to be a fairly nice weekend, I believe. So those are the National League fixtures. Plenty on the cards coming up over the course of the next week. Here's how it lines up over the next 7 days. Oxford Redcar Pool versus Newcastle. Friday, Edinburgh Leicester, Redcar Pool, Scunthorpe Oxford in the Championship. On Saturday, it's back to the Speedway Grand Prix, and it's the Polish round taking place in Warsaw. There's championship action at Berwick, Sheffield Park, Berwick versus Redcar. And in the National League, it's Leicester versus Belle Vue, as I just mentioned. And then skipping over to Monday, in the Premiership, live on Eurosport and Discovery Plus, Belle Vue Aces versus the Kings Lynn Stars. But live on TV will be Ipswich versus Sheffield. That's the main meeting on Monday evening. And then Tuesday, Plymouth versus Berwick, Oxford versus Birmingham. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy your speedway wherever you're watching it, however you're watching it, and we'll be back with you for another episode of No Brakes, No Fear, out next Wednesday morning.
No Brakes, No Fear, the official British Speedway podcast.
Sports Social Podcast Network.